So we have this double parsha this week of Acharei Mos Kedoshim. And it's interesting, the beginning of Acharei Mos, we have the Rashi tells us that the entire parsha regarding Yom Kippur, the procedures of Yom Kippur, and the Pasuk tells us, V'al yovo b'chol eisel kodesh. Do not walk in, you kohen gadol, who are allowed to walk into the into the Kodesh Kedoshim. However, even you, on the highest levels, the kohen gadol, the one on the highest levels of closest to Kadosh Baruch Hu, cannot walk in any time. You only can come in one time a year. That one time a year is Yom Kippur. You have no right to come in any other time. In fact, it's punishable by death if the kohen gadol happens to walk in at a different time. Yeah, it's much easier to hear when you're sitting up and you're focused. And Rashi tells us, and Chazal explain an incredible concept, one that I do believe is a challenge for every Jew. Every single Jew, I believe, is challenged with this particular idea. Because the Chazal say to us, the reason why you can't walk in anytime you want, 2 times a year, 5 times a year, 10 times a year, unacceptable. Whatever it might be, whatever the number might be, it's unacceptable. It's got to be one time a year. Because if you were able to walk into the base of Mikdash, into the Kodesh Kedoshim, into the Holy of Holies anytime you want, then it's going to start becoming ruggle. There's going to be a certain hergel involved, a certain routine involved. And whenever you have routine, whenever you have a ongoing sort of repeating schedule, whenever you've done this before, wherever you've been there, done that, situation comes up, there is a danger that sort of says, I am a little bit impervious, a little bit insensitive to the nature of this holiness. And therefore the Torah says, you need to understand that in order to create the Kedusha of the Kodesh Kedoshim, if you want the holiness of the Kodesh Kedoshim to impact that Kohen Gadol in the proper way, he can't walk in more than one time a year. He needs to have that certain sanctity and that special relationship with that Kodesh Kedoshim. This is my one time a year that I come in. I guess it's similar if we had Yom Kippur 12 times, if every Rosh Chodesh was like Yom Kippur. Would Yom Kippur have the same effect? Be almost impossible, because Yom Kippur has that certain status. One time a year we go through this amazing procedure called Yom Kippur. And then it hopefully gets us into a mindset where we're ready to really take full advantage. So even the Kohen Gadol, Rabbi say, even the Kohen Gadol is sort of is not immune from this challenge, this issue that we face. The issue of having a certain sense of newness and appreciation for the drama of the moment, the impact, the full impact we want the Kohen Gadol to have. He can't walk in there anytime. On the one hand, you see the incredible challenge of hergel, of routine, of having something repeat itself. There needs to be, in order for us to truly appreciate the opportunities that we have, there needs to be a newness and an excitement, a freshness about what we do. Rabbi said, but the challenge is so obviously inherent within the nature of Yiddishkeit. I've said this many times. If you ever have a chance to, I haven't done it in a long time, and I assume he's still on there, because I don't think things go off of the internet too quickly. But Usher Wade, a very, very incredible rabbi who's living in Eretz Yisrael, who has been involved in Kiruv now for probably 25 years. This Usher Wade was one of the top priests in the European community. And he talks about the fact that he could not believe that there was a religion. As he searched for a religion, it's a long story, and you really should hear it, because it's an incredible path from being literally, I think, 2 or 3 away from the top position in the Protestant church in Europe to become this incredible rabbi. But he recognized uniqueness when he started asking questions, and he started realizing sort of the unacceptable answers he was getting from the church. And he started finding out, why is it that they don't do Rashi? Why is it they stay away from certain things? And he looked into religions, and he got to Judaism, and he recognized something incredible. that Judaism dictates and speaks to every single possible situation that comes up in our lives. In every situation, we can refer back to halacha. From the moment we get up to the moment we go to sleep, and even in our sleep, halacha speaks to us. And he found that to be so uplifting and so amazing that really every single morning there is a Kadosh Baruch Hu, in a sense, telling us this is the way you should lead your lives. It's a wonderful, liberating idea. And we go and we live it every single day as we open the doors of this Beis Medrash. Every morning at 7:45, wherever that particular time might be, and we put on our tefillin every single morning, and we daven every single morning. And to an Usher Wade, when he was contrasting that idea that Allah speaks to every single situation. When you have breakfast, you make the brachas, you make the bracha achrona. There's a way you treat food. There's a way you learn Torah. There's a way you get dressed. There's a way you approach every aspect of life. So in a way, it's so uplifting, Rabbi, but in a way, it's so challenging because another day. And if the Kohen Gadol was challenged by the fact that if he would walk in more than one time a year to the Kodesh Kedoshim, it wouldn't be as fresh, it wouldn't be as exciting. So how do we sort of navigate this incredibly challenging situation where we are Jews? And the Torah speaks to us every single day about how we're supposed to approach life. And we have to approach it with a sense of excitement. We are counting down the days to Shavuos. The Torah tells us about the day of Matan Torah, that every day should be like Matan Torah. Every day we open up the Sefer. Could you imagine, Rabbi Isai? Every single day we open up the Sefer, it should be literally like the day we first got it. The excitement of the Jewish people when they finally reached Shavuos, they finally reached the day of Matan Torah. That excitement, that appreciation, that ischachus, that newness, that novelty of, my gosh, we're getting the Torah from Hashem. Anoch Hashem Elokecha mipi hagvura, from the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And somehow we have to make it new every single day. And we are people that unfortunately are very challenged by repetition, very challenged by going through the motions, very challenged by another Friday, another Sunday, another opportunity maybe put my head down and maybe grab something to read. It's not easy. So how do we do it? How do we, on the one hand, we recognize the challenge of repetition. And the Torah tells us, don't let it happen. Because if you let it be repetitious, if you let it just be mundane, you let it be routine, you're going to lose the excitement, you're going to lose the impact. And therefore, the Kohen Gadol couldn't walk into the Kodesh Kedoshim more than once a year. But at the same time, we have the obligation to make it. So how do we do it? It's a very interesting challenge that we face. Rabbi, I've mentioned this before. You speak to Rabbanim throughout the country. What is the main issue facing rabbis as they walk into their shuls and they stand up with the Pope and they give their drushes on Shabbos morning and they spend the whole week with their balabatim observing them or not observing them, come to shul during the week? What is the challenge? If you speak to them, what is the challenge facing Jewry today in the 21st century? It's this issue. It's all mundane, it's all routine, it's not fresh, it's not exciting. We're just going through the motions. We got our heads down, we got our heads back, we got the pillows in place, we're ready to go take a nap, and it's just another day. And it can't be just another day, because, hello, every day that we live our lives, the Torah tells us, there needs to be an excitement, there needs to be a freshness, there needs to be a sense of appreciation for the fact that I'm alive today. And maybe that's why we do start the day every day with Moda Ani Lefanecha. Just start the day with a sense of appreciation. My gosh, I have my neshama back. I'm alive today. We way too much take that for granted. Klal Yisrael is still reeling from horrific events that took place during Pesach. Tragedies that are unspeakable. A chas of a college driving in a car, being hit head on by a drunken driver and gone. These things just, they shouldn't happen. We can't imagine them happening, and yet they happen. In the very same shul, Rabbi Feiner from the White Shul in Far Rockaway wrote an incredible piece about the challenges they face as a community, because one of the I don't know if it was a chas or the kal, but one of those two amazing young people engaged, ready to be married, who were taken by Kadosh Baruch Hu, and I believe it was a Chal Hamoed right before Pesach. And at that same shul, there was a I think an 11-week baby that passed away one night. To an amazing family, to an incredible family, and the mother just recently posted right by the shloshim, posted one of the most moving things that you'd ever want to hear about a woman who has such bitachon by Kadosh Baruch Hu, and so accepted this very, very sad and this unbelievably damaging decree of having an 11-week-old baby boy taken from you. So everybody said, we look around and we see what goes on in the world. We recognize what a gift life is. It's our job, and it's not an easy job. It's a job that we are, I think to a large degree, many of us are failing at. How do you bring newness into your day? How do you have an appreciation for every day of life where you can approach it kechadoshim, like it's new, like it's fresh, like this? It's just another day, and that's why people notice. When you have energy, when you approach a Gemara shiur with a sense of purpose and excitement, or you just sort of, your body language shows it. You can see it on the guy the minute he walks into davening. This listless is just another day. And there's a freshness where it's a new opportunity. Everybody said we look for the outside for these answers, and it's not really on the outside. These answers of how you do this are on the inside. Rabbi Akiva is walking down the street. Rabbi Akiva, who was at 40 years old, a person who literally hated Talmidei Chachamim. He had a deep disdain for anything spiritual. And he walks down the street, and he's taking a walk in the forest, and he sees this water hitting the rock, and he sees that this rock has a hole in it, that the water has penetrated the rock. And what does he say? What does this man who's so far away from Yiddishkeit say? How does he approach that moment? And it hits him, something hits him. An epiphany opens up his mind to the opportunities that he has in front of him. And he says, if water can smash through this rock, and it's so soft, feel water. If you feel water as it's coming down from that little stream or that little waterfalls that we'll see in the end of August, these incredible places of water, and just it doesn't seem powerful. Put your hand there. My hand's right there. It doesn't move. So soft, it goes right off my hand, the water. And that water just lands on that very, very hard rock. And you look at it, and you see there's a hole in the rock. The rock is penetrated. The rock is impacted. And Rabbi Akiva makes a kal v'chomer to himself, so wait a minute. What, I think I can't change? I think I don't have the ability? I think my head is too hard that nothing can crack through? And Torah can't come into it? I think my soul's already been too burnt or whatever experiences I have that somehow don't allow my soul to be connected to Torah and to spirituality? It says Rabbi Akiva to himself, what a message HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling all of us. It's what you see and how you internalize it. And he sees this water and he sees the rock and he says, well, wait a minute. If the rock can penetrate the water and the water is so soft and the rock is so hard, what about me and Torah? If Torah is the most powerful force in the world, Torah can smash through anything. Torah is the foundation of the entire creation. This entire incredibly mind-boggling creation. With the smallest molecule, you can write volumes and volumes of nisim, of amazing miracles going on in one molecule. And you just calculate the never-ending universe that all is rooted in the Torah. The Torah can do that. It's so strong and so powerful. I can't crack through. I can't open up my mind. Of course I can. He looked at the moment, he looked at the opportunity, he internalized it. Everybody say, you need that emotional investment. It doesn't work any other way. I believe it was Rav Yanai who walked around the streets and he would go from community to community, he would scream out, who wants life? Who wants to have a potion for long life? And we all want to live long. Right? The industry, the billion-dollar industry of drugs and cosmetics and this and that, medication, just to live long, grab another extra year to look young. We're all grabbing that. So who would not want to live long? So when this great Rav Yanai walked around to the community, he said, who wants a long life? Who wants the elixir of life? Who wants to have the special potion to live long? You bet they all gathered around. And everybody's gathering around, and he's sitting there in the middle of the town square, and everyone, what? Tell me, what do I have to do? What medication do I have to take? How do I live a long life? When they all got together, he says, let me tell you. Mio Isha Chavetz Chaim. He read them a pasuk we read every Shabbos. Who is a man who wants life? Who wants to live long? Who wants to live quality life? Watch your mouth. Watch what you say. Watch how you speak. Don't speak Lashon Hara. You want to live long? You pick your head up, you get focused, and you watch what comes out of your mouth. So the obvious question that Reb Chaim Shmulevitz asks is, why go through this charade? Why do you have to? Who wants elixir of life? Who wants elixir of life? And they all come together. They're all waiting for the potion. They got their $5 out already. They got their rubles ready to go. Yeah, I want to pay for it. What is it you're selling me? And then Rav Yanai finally tells them the truth. I'm not selling you anything, Chacham. I'm telling you, look into the Torah and see what David HaMelech says about life. You want life? People go to David Feinstein and they tell him, please, I have a sick relative. What segula can you give me? We're all into segulas. We're all into almost gimmicky type things. What do I have to say for 40 straight days for a minute and a half that can get my aunt better or my grandfather better? And he says, no gimmicks, no shortcuts, no potions you can take. Nothing you can say like a quick flip and just, okay, everything's going to be good. You want the elixir of life? Go back to basics. So why didn't you just say it? Why didn't you say, Rabbi Isai, I have a gewaldige message for all of you. Please pay attention. I'm about to give you a Musar Shmuz. Why did he do that? Says Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, because he knew. Another shmuz, heads on the chair, comfortable position. Look around shul, Shabbos morning. Very sad to see how many people just take a little doze, a little snooze, and it happens. He knew he had to open them up. He knew that if I want to penetrate this Jew's neshama, I can't just get up there like any other day. Right, so we get comfortable. That's it. Wake me up when he's done. Just tap me when he's done, or we're ready for Musa. Just let me know. Give me a little shot to the ribs. He knew he had to open them up because a Jew needs to somehow have some emotional investment in the moment, and it comes from something inside of you, Rabbi Isai. We want everybody else to give us an inspiration. They can try. They can help a little bit. But Arachim will tell you, the great Arachim, the seminars that have changed thousands upon thousands of lives, will tell you, if they gave their seminar in the middle of the street to a bunch of people walking by, a bunch of chilonim that just simply are busy doing their thing, look at that, look at these questions, look at that, amazing. They have 17 proofs that the Torah is true. They have 27 proofs that Kadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. Wow, wouldn't do any good. Arachim says you have to come to me. Arachim says if we're going to be effective, you got to come to the hotel. You got to pay a few bucks. You got to show some interest. You have to have that emotional connection to the moment. Because if you don't, if it's just coming at you and it's talk to the hand, it's talk to the hand. That's all that's going to be impacted is a palm, and nothing is going to get into the neshama. So at the end of the day, Rabbi, no matter who is giving you the Torah, no matter who is trying to inspire you, no matter what is going on around you, unless you open up yourself to the realities of your challenges every single day, to grab that day, to appreciate that day, it's not going to happen. That's why when you reach a parsha like Kadosh MT, when you get this incredible message from our Kadosh Baruch Hu, that I have such great plans for you. I'm not going to accept mediocrity. And I'm not talking to the holy rabbis and to the holy Rebbitzins. I'm not talking to the Rebbitzin Kanievskis of the world. I'm talking to everybody. Da'aber al kol hadas b'nei Yisrael. Sounds overwhelming. It sounds almost ridiculous. Kadosh MT? Imagine, let's get everybody together. Let's get all the Jewish schools together. Okay, from the valley to the city, from Agura to who knows where, and let's get them all together. And let's tell them, I want you all to be holy. Right? Holy? I'm having trouble just getting up in the morning. Holy you want? Kadosh MT? Da'aber al kol hadas b'nei Yisrael? Holiness for me? When I seem to be so light years away from this concept of holiness? Everybody say, Kadosh Baruch Hu is telling us something. Yes. You can achieve holiness. And it does not mean closing yourself off from all of society. It doesn't mean becoming a hermit somewhere. We all have access to Kedusha. It's about a certain approach. We don't have the time now to talk about all of the different aspects of Kadosh MT, the way Rashi says. You want Kedusha in your life? You focus in arayos, you focus in on the aspect of controlling those sexual desires that you might have, and you will find Kedusha. If you find the strength to take that computer and that iPhone and you put it out of your room at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night when you're about to go to sleep, and you don't have it around, that's Kedusha. Have a prushim and arayos. It looks like a small thing, and almost, or maybe it may look like an apostle. I don't know. It depends, I guess, what our perspective is. But if we would understand, that's Kedusha, Rabbi say. That's Kedusha. Speaking of the devil, that's holiness. Because you have taken the erva that is impacting your life, and you're taking it outside and separating from it. I don't want it next to me. And we know when the Eitzar is most powerful, when you're alone, when there's nobody else around, when nobody looking over your shoulder. We all know that. So we have access to Kedusha. Not for a second should anybody think, because every 13-year-old boy and 12-year-old girl was there and heard Moshe Rabbeinu's words coming directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kadosh MT. We have access to Kedusha. According to Ramban, Rashi says, Heavy Prushim and Arayos, incredible thing. You start separating, you start taking new guidelines for yourself. You start saying that Shulman Nagi is not a Chumrah club of the month, but it's actually Allah and Shulchan Aruch that I have to keep. And you have the strength to simply say to the people of your lives who maybe you have not been so careful with, you say, you know what? It's time to get real. It's time to get holy. Holy? What are you doing? You're going off to Bnei Brak somewhere? You're going to rent a little apartment in Mei Sharim and learn Torah 20 hours a day? No. I'm just deleting you from my contacts. And we're not hugging anymore because Kadosh MT. That's very doable, Rabbi say. If we recognize that Kadosh MT was talking to us, and we have that ability every single day to face the challenges of life, that certainly would be one aspect of newness, of eschatshus, of excitement, because every day is a new challenge. Every day when somebody says a line to us that might tempt us to give back a triple comeback line that rips this guy's head off and chops him up into pieces. He just gave me a little zest, but I can rip him completely to shreds and destroys every fabric of his being. And I don't. Kadosh MT. Kadosh MT. If I have the ability, the Ramban says, as many people think, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's called a novel b'shus HaTorah. It's all okay. Because show me the halach where I can't have 7 rib steaks. Does it say anywhere in Shulchan Aruch that I can't just completely indulge? Is there anything wrong with that hot dog eating contest on July 4th when, what's his name, Chestnut or the other guy knocks off 97 hot dogs in 37 seconds? Anything wrong with that? What's wrong? Talent. Why do you want to eat a soaky bun with a hot dog 97 times in 30? I don't know, but that's a different story. But what's the problem? That's not, they were kosher, kosher hot dogs. What's the problem? You know what? That's called a novel b'shus HaTorah. Ramban tells us there are ways you can get around the halacha. You can't find the Shulchan Aruch that says you can't drink. You can't find the Shulchan Aruch. You're allowed to make l'chaim, you're allowed to make kiddush. So what's the problem with alcohol? There is no problem with alcohol. At the right time, in the right place, in the right amount, by the right people at the right age. When it's out of control and not in moderation, and by the wrong people at the wrong time, in the wrong age, in the wrong situation, that's called unauthorized Torah. That's called abusing the system. Finding leeways to indulge in things that we have no right indulging in because be a mensch. Kadosh MT. I say if we would stop and recognize, whoa, this is me. I have this ability. There are challenges that face us every single day. We can either look at them as being just not a challenge. I'm going to do it. He said to me this, and I wrapped him there, and he hit me back, and that's just the way it goes. Or to actually walk away. I know how hard it is after you get called in. There's always that guy with that extra shot, right? Time to go in, everyone starts going in, but I got to take that extra shot. Trouble is that extra shot leads to another guy saying, no, but I'll take that extra. I'll take the last shot. But how can I haven't had the last shot. The last shot, there's 72 last shots. And 12 minutes later, the guy's still in the court. To withstand that Nisa, it's Nisa, I guess it's Nisa, I'm sure. Come on, what's one more shot, Rabbi? What's the big deal? Basketball or alcohol seems pretty innocent. But it's not. Kadosh MT. You can meet that challenge. You can accomplish that. Every single day, Rabbi said, we have incredible opportunities. It's a question. It's right here. It's right here, right here. It's a mindset. Am I on that alert to respond to the challenges that Kadosh Baruch Hu puts in front of me, so I can meet that challenge and grow from that challenge and rise to the occasion? Or am I just in robot mode? I'm just going to go through regilus. Don't dare fall into that trap. You can't let yourself fall into that trap. Rav Solomon, I said this story almost every year. Rav Solomon shared this story many years ago in Los Angeles. And at the time he felt it was an incredibly powerful story, and about 20 years later I think it's still very powerful. And he felt you can actually open up somebody's heart to actually become religious with a story like this. But again, only when the person's looking. Only the person's ready. Only when the person's alert and ready to pay attention. Because if he's snoring away and you're talking to the hand, nothing's going to happen. You can have Moshe Rabbeinu come down and give you a Musa Shmuz. They shared an amazing story about a wonderful Talmud Chacham who lived in northern Eretz Yisrael. Rav Solomon's friend would pass him every single day. And he would look at this man's shine of his face. He would look at his children. He would be so impressed by the quality of this person just by looking at him. Didn't really know him. Never stopped to really schmooze with him. And one day he finally built up, or whatever it was, Rav Solomon's friend was a man in his 70s already, and he stopped this young rabbi in his early 30s who had a Baal Tshuva yeshiva. He said, we pass each other every day, we nod, or we say good morning, whatever, but I have to ask you. I hate to take your time, but I have to ask you. I think it's better if I'm next and not touching the chair to hear this story properly. And he said, I have to ask you, you just look special. I see your children. There's a certain chen, a certain edelkeit, a certain beauty of the way I see that you guys conduct yourself. Tell me, are you sort of the mass-produced assembly line Rosh Kolo coming out of Panovich, or are you a unique story and is there something special about your life that's not routine? That's not run-of-the-mill. And he laughed and he said to this wonderful friend of Rav Solomon, a man in his 70s, he says, well, if you have to ask, I'm not run-of-the-mill. I'm definitely not routine. In fact, so not routine am I, and is my story, that at 19 years old, he said, there was not one iota of spirituality in my life. I didn't know anything about Judaism. I didn't believe in God. I never kept Shabbos. I didn't know anything about kosher. I was about as chiloni and as secular as you could come. And not only that, but at 19, growing up in a modern world, there was not one decadent, depraved, self-indulgent sexual activity that I did not engage in. I completely threw myself in to total decadence. To the point, he said, and he's talking to this Kosher rabbi in his 70s, I got to tell you, at 19 I was bored. It's true, they didn't have, I don't think they had internet yet fully the way, unfortunately, we have it today. But the point is, he said, I did not know. I was sitting there in my house in northern Eretz Yisrael, in my apartment. At 19 years old, I was bored. I said, there's nothing left to do. I did everything. I've experimented with everything. I've tried everything. What now? And sure enough, as the Gemara says, when a person has a lot of desire to go someplace, HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes it possible. Doesn't help you, but he makes it possible. If you habal you want to purify yourself, then it's Messiah also. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you this incredibly big push. But if you want to just be a decadent person, you will be able to get to where you want to get to, unfortunately. And sure enough, he's reading the Yediot Achronot to some other newspaper there in Israel, and sure enough, he sees this advertisement. If you are bored, and you thought you had it all, and you thought decadence was all done because you have experienced everything, not yet, buddy. Come down to Beersheba, and we'll show you decadence. Well, I got all excited. Looks like there's still an opportunity here. My life is not done yet. 19 there's still more for me to dive down into the depths of depravity. So here I got to get down there. And sure enough, he gets some money for a bus ticket. He schleps down to Beersheba. And he's about to walk into this place with the alluring pictures out in front, into this pit of decadence that he is now going to experience something new. And he's all pumped to go. But like Rabbi Akiva and like many other Jews, there are some people who somehow, I don't know if it's because they have this search for something, or maybe you're just some special satisfied, I'm not sure. But we have many types of stories like this. And he's explaining to the friend of Ramat Yisrael Salomon, I went down there, I was about to walk in. Inexplicably, from the corner of my eye, I noticed this rabbinic person walking down the street. And to this day, I'm not really sure why I stopped. I'm not sure why I did not walk into that den of depravity, but something came over me and said, you know what? Just wait a minute. Why don't you watch this guy? Let's watch this guy. And he moved to the side. And he watched this rabbinic person walk down the street as he's about to pass this incredibly depraved place. And he watched him, and he's walking, and he noticed that his eyes are moving from place to place. And he noticed that his eyes, as they glanced very quickly on the disgusting pictures on the front of that building, his eyes went right away down. And instead of a normal pace of walking, his pace picked up and he walked real fast right by the pictures. I've said this story many times, that at this particular point, you would imagine that most people would simply say, I don't know what that guy's problem is. I came here to have fun. I'm going in there. But says this young rabbi to Rav Yisrael Salomon's friend, for some reason at that particular moment, I guess because he was looking, something came over him, because somehow his soul has maybe covered up with layers of schmutz that you can't even imagine. But Kadosh MT still speaks to every single Jew, Rabbi Isai. And he said to himself, wait a minute, what did I just see? I just saw a rabbi, I just saw this person with a beard look at what to me is the ultimate of pleasure. He looked at those pictures which represent the ultimate in what I am anticipating as the greatest moment of my life. He looked at them, he put his eyes down, and he ran real fast away. Where's he running to? Where's he going? If he's running someplace after seeing what I am running towards, where he's running must be better than where I'm running to. I need to find out. I need to find out where in the world is he running to. What could be more pleasurable than what to me is the epitome of my existence? And he ran after him. And he said, where are you going? He said, I'm going to learn Torah. And of course, what's Torah? And he said, well, come with me and I'll show you, and the rest is history. And this young man became a Rosh Kollel, and he asked Hamidim, and they lived happily ever after. Rabbi say, there are many stories like this about people who are just looking and ready to see what's in front of them, to internalize the opportunities that life gives to you. Sometimes when we have it every single day, yes, there's a challenge of hergel, there's a challenge of routine. We can't let that happen to us. And the only way we can do that is by investing an energy and an excitement about the opportunities that face us. If every single day we would say Kadosh MT, it's not about being in some attic somewhere in Bnei Brak. It's about facing the challenges of life and being successful. I can do that. I can have another day of incredible accomplishments where I can change the world. If you knew that today was the day that you would change the world, you'd approach it differently. Rabbi said every day is that day. There's not a day that we don't live through. That if we respond to the opportunities that we face, we can fulfill Kadosh MT. We can be that incredible Jew. We can grab that opportunity. We don't have to move from the pit of decadence. Baruch Hashem, we're not where that 19-year-old boy was. Not even close. Doesn't mean, though, that we can't establish a perspective and a mindset of you beinecha kechadashim. Every day that we get up, every day that we go through the incredible opportunities that we face on a school day, on a vacation day, 12 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock in the morning. These are amazing challenges and amazing opportunities. If we remember that Kadosh MT, Rabbi say, speaks to all of us, every single one of us, we will fulfill that mandate. We will not be that novel b'shus Torah. We will be that person whose parishman arise. We'll be able to press that delete button and say, you know what? That's not me anymore. I'm not that person. By fulfilling our mandate, we will fulfill the ultimate mandate of bringing B'yas HaMashiach Mehev Yameinu.